Hey y'all, welcome to the Dormouse's desk. We're going to do something kind of fun today. I'm going to try my hand at a chatty, currently inked. So, a while ago, I think it was sometime in the summer, Ink Journal in their ink flight sent out this ink testing booklet, and it has really nice 52 GSM Tomoe River paper in it. But I don't know about you, and certainly none of my pen friends, who we all enable each other, have only 40 inks. So this booklet was kind of too small. I know Amanda on her channel gave hers away, and I tried to piggyback on that. And I asked her if she had any people that asked her after hers was given away if they had wanted one, she could send them my way and I would give them this one, but I didn't have any takers. Anyway, so this is the format of the book. I can't use this like this, but I don't want to waste the paper, and luckily the printing on here is fairly light, so I think that I can use it this way. And so I've decorated the cover so that I know which way is up, because this is literally the proper way. But I don't want to use this side of the paper. I want to use this side of the paper. So, with that said, I have made a currently inked book with some of my favorite pen makers included on it. This is the only pen maker, but you know, we do have an ink journal Inktopuss. So anyway, let's get started with some currently inked. So I'll let you know that before we begin, I've had these pens inked since the beginning of October. So I've had about 2 or more than 2 weeks now of use with them. And I really don't have any bum ink pen combinations, and I'm really pretty happy with all of these combinations. And to start it off, I have to say, if you've seen my Instagram, you saw that this came in the mail for me recently. It was a surprise from my husband, and not something that I would have purchased for myself, mostly because I didn't think that I would get a lot of use out of this, but the amount of stuff that you can cram in here is ridiculous. I'll open it up and show you. This may or may not be in focus, but I have 4 pens in the pen slots over here. I have a pen on either side of my 2-pen koozie, and I have the new Write Ledger notebook that came in the last ink flight, all stuffed in here. And it doesn't feel stuffed. It actually feels, it's sort of solid, but it doesn't feel like it's bulging or that it's putting any undue pressure on anything. And so that's really sort of amazing, and God, the colors are fun. So anyway, let's start with the first ink and the pen. So the first ink and pen is Montegrappa Harry Potter Thestral, and this is my TWSBI Diamond 580 Smoke and Rose Gold, and this has a medium nib, and you may recognize it from when I inked all of my pens 2 months ago. This is a favorite combination. I really love this ink. It's very wet. It takes a little bit of time to dry, but it has a really pretty black sheen on it. It's super black ink. And if I'm writing with a black ink, I want it to be black. I don't want it to be gray. So I love that. I love it so much that I bought a bottle of it. And I normally don't go for super expensive inks, which I consider this one to be pretty expensive. I think it's normally $32 a bottle here in the US. I mean, it is a 50 milliliter bottle, but that's sort of on the more expensive end for me. Oh look, I've not even opened this yet. I was going to do a swatch. I've not even opened it. I had a sample of it, but this is what the bottle looks like. I'll just squeeze it out of the pen because that's still a sample. But this is what the bottle looks like. It's a really cool bottle and label. It has the Hogwarts seal on the top. We'll do this. And you know, I saw, who was it? I'm not sure if it was Simone or Maria. Somebody did this recently, and I was sort of gobsmacked. Oh, I've never thought of that before, but we'll just get it in frame. Ooh, that's a big blob. And then this is the top to another ink bottle. This was awful ink that came with a dip pen. And I'm just gonna, make a mess, apparently. Make a big, big mess. Let's see if we can move any of this out. This is super saturated ink. This may be just a huge mistake. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Sailor Shikiori Okuyama. This is sort of like a rose color with a green sheen. We'll try something different this time. The next ink is Venta Milli Terracotta. I think I'm just going to go in with the back end of my automatic pen. Although, no. It seems to just make more sense to do this. Let's make a square. That way we can pull the water down. So the pen that I paired with this is The Tools to Live by Le Chat, which is French for the cat, and it has a cat on the nib. And I think these are defaulted for fine nibs. So you might be asking how it went having all of my pens inked, and I have a very small collection. Well, I have, in comparison to some others, I have a fairly small collection. What was it like to have all those pens inked at once? And in a way it was a little bit overwhelming, and in a way it was kind of awesome to be spoiled for choice. Because I had a really good assortment of pretty much all of the colors. Yellow was probably a little underrepresented, but everything else was pretty well in the mix, and so it was kind of fun, but it was a little too much. 7 7 is a decent amount for me. All right, next up we have Pannonia. I think this is Almazold. I'm not sure about the pronunciation. I think that's what it is, but I have no idea. And then this is in a Twisby Eco. This is the glow in the dark, the glow green version. Oh, I need to put a blob of ink down. Okay. This is such a pretty green. And it's a pretty decent match for this pen as well. Alright, next up. You guys remember how I was like, oh, one of my favorite pen makers. This is a brand new pen for me. Well, it's a new to me pen. I bought it secondhand. But this is a Walltown Fat Cat Golden Abalone. And there are little specks of like blue shimmer in here. It's almost translucent. There's a lot of translucency to it. It's just a gorgeous, gorgeous pen. And this is a cursive smooth italic, and it's great. So let me do a blob first, and then we'll do the writing. Oh, so the ink is Sailor Uramiku Yoi. This is one of their new offerings. All of the inks are sort of like these murky multi-shader inks. So try to work this a little bit more. But the base color here is, it's supposed to be like a dark blue. And on some paper, like my labels, it comes up as a dark blue. You can see how it's sort of like a gray, blue, green, purple on the Tomoe River paper. And here it looks really green to me, especially through here. So I don't know what color this is, but I think it's technically supposed to be a blue. So this is... This might be my favorite color of the line that came in the ink flight boxes. I don't know what it is, but it's such a great match for this pen, in my opinion. Alright, so that one's done. The next ink up is Harry Potter Montegrappa Night Bus. I know I have 2 Harry Potter inks going on here, but it is like the month of Halloween, so we need more spooky stuff. Not that Harry Potter is spooky, but you know what I mean. I know a lot of people were disappointed with this ink, but I think it's a a pretty nice, just regular purple. You know, it doesn't do anything fantastic, but it's still a nice ink. So anyway, so this was the Fat Cat. This is a regular cat. If you're ever curious about size comparisons on the Walltown pens, and I'm not sure that he even offers up the Fat Cat all that often, but I have seen it on his Instagram recently. It's just a little bit longer. I think a little bit wider. It's a more substantial, girthier pen. This was my birthday pen. This is in Stardust and Diamonds. It's a diamond cast section. And then I think this is the Ziggy Stardust blank, if I remember correctly. But I love this pen too. He really does a really beautiful job with the pens. I'm not sure exactly how well this comes off, but it's blingy. What's next? Okay, so let's do our blob. Alright, so here's our blob. If I remember correctly, I think I did a 30 inks, 30 days painting with this one. I don't remember the chromatography being super interesting. It must have been a long, long time ago. And this is a Franklin-Christoph medium sig. Okay, last but not least on the list is Lamy Blue Black. So a pen friend gave this to me, and it was mostly empty, and so I got this cartridge fill, and then there's just very little left in there. But this is like giving somebody like their first bump of crack or something to get people hooked on drugs. I've never been on crack. But you know, the way to get people hooked on drugs is to give them just like a tiny amount of really nice ink. This one I like more than I thought I would. Actually, how am I gonna get this out of here? Let's see what we can do here. Oh, maybe. Hey, would you look at that? That worked out pretty nicely, actually. Let's see. I'll take it out this way. This feels like a very broad medium, so I imagine there might have been some work done to this nib at some point, because it's a little bit juicy. Alrighty, so I'm gonna let this dry and we'll come back and we'll take a look. I'm hoping that future videos like this go a little bit smoother. I know how I track these things in my regular journal, which is a little bit messier than this and not quite the same at all. It's basically just like a list of pens and inks and when I inked it and whether or not I did a full fill or not. So this is a different format for me, and I'm hoping that it works out. But anyway, so the Thestral, I just put way too much ink on there. That is, it's not really coming up on me too bad, and it's not smearing, so I think it's fairly well dried. There were just like a couple of little spots. Oops, my hand was wet. That's what did that, but like a little bit oily, but it's not too bad considering the amount of ink I put on there. Sailor Shikiori Okuyama. Not a whole heck of a lot of the sheen in the writing, which that is a very wet, broad nib. So I would sort of expect that. There is a little bit of shading and a tiny bit of sheen in these like squigglies, a little bit of sheen in the eyes. It's not entirely consistent throughout. Maybe some haloing, but that's a lot of sheen, and it was a lot of ink on here, so you can expect that if you really blob it on. The terracotta, I got some really pretty shading in the squigglies. I think this sheen's red. It's just a really nice orange. I don't want to touch it because I'm inky everywhere, but that one I like. It's interesting and not too ostentatious. The Pannonia, I really wasn't expecting it to pool like that. Not really any sheen to speak of, but it's such a bright, happy ink, and I really like the way that it matches the glow in the dark eco. The Uramiku, what did I call it before? Yoi? Maybe it's Yoi. I'm not sure. Somebody correct me. Is it Yoi or Yoi? I feel like it's Yoi. That's a gorgeous ink. It reminds me of like abalone and mussel shells and things like that. I think it fits that pen nicely. It's a good match. The Night Bus sort of surprised me a little bit. There is actually gold sheen in here along the edges and a little bit in this stripe in the middle. I don't think I've ever seen that before in any of the writing or swatching that I've done, so that's interesting. And then finally the Parker Blue Black, or the Lamy Blue Black in the Parker. I have a suspicion that this ink doesn't actually sheen like this, because this is a heck ton of sheen. If I had to guess, I'd say it's a red sheen, but really, with the dark blue under it, it looks more like a copper. But I'm willing to bet that there's been some evaporation in that bottle, and that's why everything is sheen. I really love how dark this is. I kind of wish there wasn't so much sheen, so maybe I'll put a couple of drops of water in the cartridge to dilute it down a little bit. I will see you next time. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. This is probably a little bit scatterbrained, But I appreciate you being here. I appreciate all your kind comments, your support. Everybody that's ordering items from the Etsy shop, you don't know how grateful I am to you that you're willing to take a chance on this silly little thing that I did. And so every order that comes in puts a huge smile on my face. So I appreciate you. Leave a comment down below if you have any suggestions for how I can make this better. And then like and subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. It shows me that you appreciate the content that I put out there. Also, let me know how you like these talky videos. All right, thank you so much. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.